One of the most misunderstood topics we see today is mental illness. Media portrayals of mental illness have helped shape how people view and react to it, whether positive or not. The psychological thriller Black Swan looked at the manifestation of mental illness through the loss of control in Nina's life as made evident through the changes in costuming, music, and the use of mirrors and doubles. Black Swan uses the angle of the main character's illness being hidden to represent the incognito form mental illness takes and how many people around us could be in the same state without us realizing. Black Swan often made subtle hints to further enforce the idea that Nina was spiraling out of control. One such thing was costume design. In Deborah Landis's article, The Role of Costumes and Costume Designers, Landis mentions that costumes, like the characters they embody, must evolve within the context of the story and the arc of the character within it. Black Swan does a great job of this by evolving Nina's costumes to represent her evolution into the Black Swan and to provide contrast to her foil, Lily. One of the first scenes we see with Nina and Lily is the train ride to the dance studio. Nina, in her pink coat and white feathery scarf, sees a reflection of someone in the window. This figure has dark hair and is in dark clothing, yet Nina seems to believe it is a reflection of herself. The act of Nina moving her hair behind her ear gave the audience this inclination. This simple yet very important scene provides so much information that is hard to realize upon first viewing. At the moment, it is unknown who this character is. All we know is that Nina sees this person, thinks that it is her reflection, and then it disappears. However, from later context given, it is realized that this girl is Lily, the foil to Nina's character. She is everything Nina is not and everything Nina wishes she could be. Lily is the Black Swan while Nina is the White Swan. This contrast can be seen at the banquet with Nina wearing an all-white dress and Lily in an all-black one. Once again, the contrast was made to show how opposite they were. However, as the play progressed and as Nina was around Lily more, Nina began to transform. While seeming insignificant at first, the increasing amount of gray clothing Nina wore physically represented her descent into darkness. It provided subliminal visual cues to the audience to further enforce this spiral out of control. Adding to this, Black Swan also used changes in music to suggest when Nina was losing control. Whenever Nina had hallucinations, the music would speed up and increase in dramatics.
Face front, we're almost done.
In Robin Hoffman's blog on music's role in movies, he stated that music helps portray a character's emotions. A face with a neutral expression can be pushed into feeling many different things just by what kind of music is used. In the times of her hallucinations, the music tended to speed up, not just to add dramatic effect to the situation, but to also show the panic she was feeling. The tempo of the music could be felt as the beating of her heart. This use of music helps portray to the audience how the character is feeling so that they can relate and make connections to further enforce the storyline and provide pathos. An evident example of this is when Nina is at the banquet and she imagines her fingers are bleeding more than they really are.
Just a second.
The music speeds up to show the fright Nina is feeling. Her fingers won't stop bleeding, someone keeps knocking on the door, and she still has to go out and make a good impression on people. When Nina finally realizes it isn't as bad as she thought, the music stops to suggest a change in emotion and a sense of relief that came over her. Another main scene is when she goes to the hospital to see Beth and imagines she stabs herself with the nail file.
Nothing.
Then she gets home and imagines Beth is standing in her kitchen and that her mom's paintings are taunting her. The music maintained a fast tempo and lasted for a while to suggest this hallucination is longer than the others and more severe. This was a major breaking point for Nina, and after it is over, the music changes to the music box playing calm music in the background. She's back to a peaceful state. Beyond costume design and music, mirrors and doubles were used to show the paranoia ensuing in Nina's mind. In that scene on the train, Nina believes she is seeing her reflection, foreshadowing what is to come. Not much time after, she's walking down a corridor and sees a woman in dark clothing approaching. In this moment, she imagines that lady is herself, until her mind clears and she realizes it wasn't her. Many of these interactions occurred throughout the movie, such as seeing herself above her when bathing and picturing Lily as herself after the club. The most drastic use of this doubling was when Nina thought she was fighting with Lily and then saw her own face. It turns out that she was fighting with herself all along. Every time she saw herself, she slipped further into being the Black Swan. Nina was split into two beings, and they were competing with each other up until the point of her death. Flowing from this idea of being two, Black Swan employed reflections and mirrors to be a physical representation of double identity. Many of Nina's hallucinations occurred when looking in the mirror. When she imagined she pulled a lot of skin off of her finger, she was looking in the mirror. When she thought her back was bleeding more than it was, she was looking in the mirror. When she thought she was growing feathers, she was looking in the mirror. Making her reflection appear different than what was occurring in real life allowed for it to become another character. There were two Ninas. The white swan was physical, while the black swan was mental. It created an inner conflict that the audience felt very much a part of. The audience could relate to the inner struggle of finding identity, which made the situation seem more plausible and likely to happen in real life. Psychological thrillers have the challenge of portraying mental illness in an efficient manner while creating a solid cinematic piece. Black Swan achieved this portrayal of psychosis as seen in Nina's transition into the Black Swan and the ensuing psychosis that stemmed from her spiral out of control. The use of costuming, music, doubles, and mirrors created a picture of her psychosis in Nina's life that was obvious to the audience, but that wasn't seen in those around her. This interaction depicted the reality that is mental illness and the hidden form it may take in